I always like seeing the little boogers. There's a lot of kids in here. That's a great thing. What a blessing. Well, I say it every week. I want to thank you guys for coming. And thanks for having me. And thanks for giving to our church the way you do. The title of today is The Rain is Coming. I wanted to talk a little bit about this. What better thing to relate to this message than about chickens? Know me for any measure of time. I am a chicken god. I've been hatching chickens since a long time. And everybody knows, and if you don't, you will today, it takes 21 days to hatch a chicken. There's no question. It takes 21 days. Now, you can up the temperature a little bit in your incubator and you can kick them up to 20. And some even maybe get 19, but if you start pushing your luck, here's a little harder because of our altitude and the air. It makes it harder for those little guys to go that fast. And so that's why you don't see any hatcheries really around the mountain areas. They're down where they're getting down to sea level because you have to pump oxygen into the incubator if you want to push them like that. So when we say that, well, flat out, chickens need to be incubated at 100 degrees. You could just take an egg and set it on the countertop and it will never hatch unless it is incubated. And I don't care what anybody says, bar none. Bar none. Mama hatching the eggs are always way better than trying to hatch them under an incubator. Because the mom just knows. Her body, she sweats, she makes humidity, she turns those little eggs all the time, moving around in there. You cannot replicate it like the mom can. You just can't. The incubator does a good job. You get it to turn a couple hundred times a day. You know, that really helps keep the embryo moving and all this stuff. But we incubate eggs standing up, not on their sides. Because we found that that's even better. But the moms still know to put it on the side because they know how to pay attention. They know what they're doing. They can pay attention. They know everything about hatching the egg. And we have learned a ton about hatching an egg. In fact, to this point in time, I would say that we have it down to a science. We do. I can take eggs, I can look at them. If I get an egg that's warm, I can throw that in the incubator. My hatch rate goes way up versus having an egg that sat and kind of got chilled a little bit or whatever. I know what I can do. And I know how I can get eggs to hatch. But with all these factors in place, as my dad would say, you still can't count your chickens before they hatch. Because you can get a chick that'll go all the way and still never hatch. It just, something's not right. I don't know what it is. I'm not a scientist. That one didn't work. I don't know what to tell you. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But how about our lives? We look at our own lives when there aren't standards in sciences. Or are there some standards and some sciences? You know, we talk about one of our kids got sick this week. We had to take her to the hospital. And Bree was asking me, you know, what about this and what about that? And as I'm driving to the hospital, I'm going, you know, I need that rule book, that instruction manual that says if they have this pain and this situation going on, see page 26. And I could just, good, we don't know. So I go, I don't know what this could be. We got to go to the doctor. And then they just guess too, but they have some more science and they're able to figure out some more things. The bottom line is it's not perfect. And every one of our lives isn't the 21-day ritual. And we're not going to have a perfect science to what we need for our individual situation in our lives. It's not an equation. It's not a formula. There's framework. The Bible's very clear about framework. That's what we're going to go over today to talk about that. And that framework is kind of like the incubator. It's kind of like a safe place. It's kind of like the egg turner. It's kind of like the humidity. It's kind of like the temperature. But at the end of the day, the magic that goes on inside the egg, it's God's. And that's what he does. And the magic that happens in each one of our lives, that's God's. And we're not going to be able to figure out what's good for this person is not the same for that person. You know, we like to try and say, well, just do what I did. But it's not the same for everybody. You can put two guys out to design a house and build it, and it will be different. It will be. There are different ways that they will do different things. It happens. I'm one of those guys that, you know, has the mystery inch rule. I don't know where, it's an inch smaller when I'm done with whatever, right? Because I just mess up sometimes, and I'm not a professional. But, you know, I do what I can. The bottom line is we don't have formulas to our situation, and we don't have the exact science. And that's what tests our faith. That's what then takes it a whole nother direction. Because when you don't know to do X and Y, you don't know how to get to Z. And that is such a frustrating place for us. Because we really like to be in the know. If there's anything society's proved, we talk about it. The internet, everything that's at our fingertips puts us in the know. We like to know what's going on. We can find out anything in seconds, in minutes. We have to do that. And God, the Bible says Jesus is the same yesterday, today, and forever. He isn't changing. But we're looking for him to kind of progress and to have a Google connection with God. So we can just ask and know and move on. And it doesn't work that way. It just doesn't. It's a process. There's a framework that we have to fall into. But that's where our faith is. That's where the magic and the beauty of the relationship with Christ is. That's where the specialness that you feel, the peace that you get to have, that's beyond all understanding, that's where it's coming from. That's where the satisfaction is. So, I want to ask you, we love to have a reason to hold on to our faith, but what do you do when you have no idea if your egg is going to hatch? And are you in the right place? Is this the right way? Do you find yourself saying, will this work out? How do you know all other attendant circumstances are in place for the next step to becoming? How do you know? Where's the answer? Life's full mystery. That's what my dad used to always say. I don't like playing games. Life's a game as it is, and that's enough for me. It's hard enough. But the formula that we're looking for isn't going to be there. The fullness that we get from the relationship in Christ is so genuine. It replaces that. But because we live in an instant world, it's very easy to be caught up in a front with God. When we talk about that front, it's not that you're not genuine with God, but you don't have to go as deep. You don't have to press in as hard because things aren't so difficult. We talked about this last week when, it used to be all day for people to have a meal. You sat down to eat. The thankfulness that you had is a lot different than now. And we can just bust into a restaurant, grab something, and move on. It is a big deal. So there's the guideline that gives us parameters, and I believe that guideline is in James chapter 1, verses 2 through 17. And this guideline gives us hope. This guideline gives us strength, and it strengthens our faith. So we're going to go through this. We're going to talk about it, starting in verse 2. This is the Amplified version that I'm reading, so that it's a little more wordy, and I need all the extra words. I need all the words I can get in this passage to help me out. So it says, "Consider it nothing but joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you fall into various trials." Okay. All right. So already, trials. I'm supposed to consider this joy. Okay. Okay. So that's a parameter Does that mean that if I consider it joy, it's just going to be perfect? No. No, in fact, it didn't say if I consider it joy, I won't have trials. It just says to consider it joy when you get to go through the trials. Well, that's easier said than done. I mean, I'm not going to beat around the bush. Oh, yeah, things are hard at my house. Oh, yeah, this is joy. The joy of the Lord is, yeah, that's what I'm supposed to do. But that's easier said than done. But if we press in, if we're doing that, we're getting a satisfaction. We're getting a level of peace. We have to do that. You have to push yourself to get there. Be assured that the testing of your faith through experience. So we're going to be tested. I love how sometimes people say, well, I thought when I became a Christian it got easier. No, we're going to be tested. And through the endurance or the experience, it's going to produce endurance. And it's going to lead to spiritual maturity. Miss Kathy said this morning, she says, you know what I like about getting older? I'm getting just a little bit more wisdom. I said, I'm trying to get there. You know, but it leads to spiritual maturity. We get that is if you've got 60 years under your belt, you have way more experiences than I do. And way more than our kids do. And that grows us. And it says, and inner peace. Because when we can get to the point where we can go, okay, all right, so this is what it is. I can't fix this. This is my trial in life. And I'm going to laugh at the devil. Because if he thinks this is the big one, okay, if he thinks he's going to give it, no, I'm not going to let him win. You have to decide it today. No, he's not going to win. And count it joy. And you get to have that inner peace. But we get to move on. And let endurance have its perfect result. And do a thorough work. Isn't this interesting? Because it's so easy to just quick and read that. Endurance means long. It means forever. It means I'm asking and I'm asking and I'm asking and I'm asking. That's endurance. It's like your kids in the store when they're trying to wear you down. Can we please go over that? I really want to look at this doll again. And you got $100,000 at home. You don't need to look at another doll. Please, they're wearing you down. And it's the endurance. Oh, I will win this. We're getting out of this store. We are not looking at dolls. And then they cry, and then they whine, and then it just keeps going, and it keeps going. That's how it goes, right? That's our endurance. I do the same thing to God. Please, Lord, if you didn't hear me yesterday, how about today? Please, I want to wear him down. I mean, he says if I can ask, and I'm going to ask 100 more times. But this endurance doesn't mean it happened tomorrow. And it doesn't mean that it's going to be quick. We like to sit and pray because we get the quick Google answer in less than a millisecond. When the internet first was a big deal, how many of us sat there 5 minutes while the computer's grinding? Well, we're just waiting for the first page to pop up, you know? We wouldn't go to the next 10 answers because it took too long to wait for the next page to pop up. We want instant. But it didn't say that here. Nothing in here says instant. It says through endurance, perfect and completely developed. Isn't that interesting? So we have to have endurance to get perfectly and completely developed in your faith. You know what that means? It's going to take some time. You're going to get to sit and ask God for a while. And you're going to ask. And you're going to ask. And He's not ignoring you. And it's not that He's not listening. What it says is you need to get perfectly developed. Your faith needs to grow. We need to bring you to a new level. We do it with our kids. There's a point when you know when your kids can take the dish to the sink and not bust it by putting it in. And there's a point when they know how to wash them. And then there's a point when they can put the dish in the sink, wash them, and put them away. And then there's a point that they get to help start making the meals. Right? That's a progress. We're doing the same thing in our own life. God does the same thing with us. Okay. You did well on that. You didn't do great, Phil. I watched you kick and scream a little bit. You had to say sorry to me a couple of times. I get that. I forgive you. Now we're going to bring you to a new spot. And we all love change. We all love it. That's what's so good. That's what makes us such great Christians. We're like, Lord, I love the change. That's why we grind. He said, no. I want to develop your faith so you're lacking in nothing. Wow. He doesn't want us suffering. But we get to suffer. I'm inferring that we get to suffer a little bit to develop. To get to a place. It's not lavish. It's lacking in nothing. It means you'll have breakfast tomorrow. Kind of like the temperature in the incubator. You have to have that, or you'll never hatch the egg. We will not lack. But I can tell you right now, if we did an anonymous survey, a bunch of us, me, would say, I feel like I'm lacking sometimes. I don't think he's here. I get it. He's still growing me. He's still developing me. It says, if any of you lacks wisdom, to guide him through a decision or circumstance, he is to ask of our benevolent God. Isn't this interesting? So if you're lacking wisdom, I do that a lot. I really do that a lot. We're to ask our God, who gives us everything to everyone generously, without rebuke or blame. Take that for a minute. Take that home. Take that to the bank. God, I have no clue what I'm doing half the time. Please, can you show me? Can you direct me? Can you guide me? There are decisions I need to make. I still don't know what I'm going to do. Lord, I'm asking you. Some decisions I've sat on for weeks, months. Other decisions I make too soon. It happens. I get it. But if we ask, he's going to give it to us, and he's not going to blame us. He's not, thank God he doesn't go, all right, here's the idiot Phil again. Bless his heart. Bless his heart. What do you need today? No, he doesn't. He doesn't rebuke you and blame you. He's like, oh, Phil, what can I do for you? Kind of like the grandparents, you know. The parents are a little more tired. The kids wear us down. The grandparents are like, oh, sweetie, what do you want? Here, come here. Come here. Right? Think of God that way. He's looking at us that way. That kind of unconditional love. He really cares. He really cares. Not that a parent doesn't. Don't get me wrong. But I know that parents get tired. I get it. I've had 4 kids. So anyway, going on, he says, who gives to everyone generously. We said that. But he must ask for wisdom. He must ask for wisdom. And he goes on to say, in faith. In faith. In other words, once you ask God, you need to be expecting he's going to show you something. Sometimes we go, God, it would be great if you could help me with X. We don't really get an answer. We don't know if we get an answer. We move on with life, and we kind of forget about X. Rest assured that situation will rise again in our life. Because to continue to progress, we have to deal with all these aspects as God gives them to us. And the funny thing is the aspects I get to deal with are going to be different. Yours, yours, and yours. We all have a whole different set. That's what makes this so difficult. We don't have, see page 27. We do have a framework. And that's what we've got to trust. And in trusting this framework, it grows our faith. This framework strengthens our faith. So it goes on to say, we must ask in faith without doubting God's willingness to help. This one's for me. So many times I'm like, God, he's not listening. He's not listening. Why does this have to be hard? And it's the little things that I get frustrated with. You know, you're trying to do something, and it's the little things. And I'm like, God, do you care? Like, really? Does this have to be hard today? And I thought I made it through this trial last week. Why are we revisiting this? God's working on that whole endurance thing with me, because I really want stuff right now. So it goes on to say, but we can't doubt it, for the one who doubts is like a billowing surge of the sea that is blown about and tossed in the wind. In other words, once you start doubting, it's pointless. You're wasting your time. You're spinning your wheels. It's not going to get you anywhere. It goes on to say, for such a person ought not to think or expect that he will receive anything at all from the Lord. What? We just had a framework up here that said you can ask, and now it says you not ought or think or expect you will receive anything from the Lord. In other words, as soon as you walk away from faith, don't expect a darn thing. If you're not going to believe that God can fix your situation, that he's going to fill in the gap, that he's going to bring a messenger, he's going to bring an angel, he's going to tell the doctor the right thing, he's going to help you through your hard time. If you can't believe that, then you're just wasting your time out to sea, because he's not going to bother. That's what that says. For such a person, being double-minded man, unstable. Unstable. I read that about 7 times when I was working on this, because I can be a little unstable. Because I do start to go, I don't think God cares. I do feel that temptation. I do feel that frustration. I'm not standing up here like I've got this perfect. Hey guys, have this faith in what? No, I'm telling you, it's a daily battle. It's a daily battle. Okay, I know you've got this under control. I've got some things in my life that look bleak. I do. That's a reality for me. And I have to sit there and go, no. My God's bigger than all that. And he made this universe for me. I can get through it. And I'm not going to be restless in all my ways. In other words, this can't be a daily battle. This can't be a day. Okay. No. It doesn't do me. That's not faith. When that battle comes up, we need to speak to the devil. Because that's who brings up the battle. We need to speak to the devil. No. God hasn't given me a spirit of fear. No. He says, trust in the Lord with all your heart. In all your ways, acknowledge him. Lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge him, and he will make a path straight. That's what I have to sit on. That's what I have to rest on. Moving on. So it says, let the brother in humble circumstances glory in his high position as a born-again believer, called to the true riches and be an heir of God. The rich man is to glory in being humbled. Okay. By trials, revealing human frailty, knowing true riches are found in the grace of God. So easy to react. Well, if you'd have just saved your money, if you'd have just planned this out, but true riches come from God anyway. And is there wisdom in saving your money? Please. Yes, there is. The point that I'm trying to make is if you get in a pomp of self-righteous, well, I know how to do it, and you don't. That's not an area that I think is a good area to go. It says, for like the flower of the grass, he will pass away, for the sun rises with the scorching wind and withers the grass. In other words, this is Phil's version. What that says is, you can have something absolutely beautiful, and it can be gone tomorrow. Tomorrow. Watched that happen in my own life. Things are great, things are rocking, and tomorrow it changed. It's so easy to sit there and go, well, yeah, see what I did. I worked hard. No, by the grace of God, I have what I have. And it's by the grace of God I'm hanging on. So, moving on, I said, blessed, happy, spiritually prosperous, favored by God, is the man who is steadfast under trial. That's that perseverance. Steadfast under trial. All right, I don't care what's happening. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep going on my path. Because under trial, I persevere when I'm tempted. For when he has passed the test and has been approved, he will receive the victor's crown. Now, it doesn't say the victor's crown that you expect the way you want it. What it says is the victor's crown of life, which the Lord has promised to those who love him. Why do I want to bring that up? Is because we love to tell God what that victor's crown is going to look like. And my crown's going to be gold, and it'll have diamonds, and it'll look like this, and then you get a silver one, and you're like, I never got my crown. And God's like, hey, whoa. It's right there. It's right in front of your eyes. Are you looking? We talk about looking for those miracles. Are we listening? So let no one say when he is tempted, I'm being tempted of God, for temptation does not originate from God, but from our own flaws. For God cannot be tempted by what is evil, and he himself tempts no one. It's not God. We know who the tempter is. It's no secret. I'll just say it, the devil. But each one is tempted when he is dragged away. And I'll tell you, I know that temptation. When I'm being carted around, enticed and baited to commit sin by my own worldly desires, lust and passion. Then when the illicit desire has conceived, it gives birth to sin. Isn't that interesting? So we had the framework. We knew where to go with the incubator. And then we start to go, well, I'm going to tweak the temperature. Well, I could double stack eggs. Messes up how the air circulation gets to them, by the way. Don't do that. Speaking from experience, remember I want everything instant and I want double? That's the problem. That worldly desire, that lust, that passion, oh yeah, that gives birth to sin. And when sin runs its course, it gives birth to death. So in other words, you're not going to get where you want to go. So don't be misled, my beloved brothers and sisters. Every good thing and every perfect gift is from above. It's exactly what it says. It comes down from the Father of lights, the creator and sustainer of the heavens, in whom there is no variation, no rising or setting, or shadow cast by his turning. For he is perfect and never changes. That's a passage I'd read more than once. That's something that I'm going to get your refrigerators filled up. That's one of those ones when it's a little hard. Maybe you have it in one of those cupboards you can just bury your head in it and read it. Because it's hard. God does know our needs and desires. Peter and Jesus are walking along, tax collectors like, yo, ante up. I can see Peter's face because Peter was a realist. There's just not doubt in my mind. Peter's like, oh yeah, great. Now we have to ante up the money. We're going to jail. I don't have the money. How are we going to do this? And then Jesus is like, walking away. He's like, well, go catch a fish. And the first fish you catch, there'll be a coin in his mouth. Take it out and pay the tax. Like, don't you wish? Do you know people that are that calm? I know a couple of people that are that calm. And I'm the guy going, okay, I got to figure this out. I got to see. And they're just like, well, if it rains, it rains. If it pours, it pours. Well, we'll see how it turns out this year. And that's their attitude. And I'm like, how can you have that? We have some deadlines to make. But Jesus knew the need. God knew the need and the desire. Done. It's no big deal. So let's look at Elijah. Because that was quick and easy. That was one of those quick and easy. There wasn't a lot of endurance. Maybe Peter didn't sleep for a night. I don't know. They didn't really give the time frame, but it seemed pretty quick. What about those where you're grinding at it? You got another year. You're waiting on it. You're waiting on it. What's going to happen? That's the situation with Elijah. In 1 Kings 18, 41 through 46. So it's dry. It's hot. They're in a drought. That's just what it is. You've never experienced that here in Carr, because it rains all the time. So think of July in Carr, okay? So Elijah says to Ahab, hey, get up on your feet. Eat and drink, get ready, celebrate. Rain is on the way. Can you imagine Ahab? Elijah says, I hear it coming. I hear it. I can feel it. And Ahab, well, he stepped in faith. He goes, all right. Gets up, eats and drinks. Okay. And Elijah climbs to the top of Mount Carmel. He bows deeply in prayer, his face between his knees. Interesting. Not a cloud in sight. Not a cloud in sight. He heard it. But now where does he go? He goes to the cross. He goes to the throne of God. Bows his head between his knees. That's huge. Then he says to his young servant, on your feet, look toward the sea. And he went out and looked, and he said, Elijah! I don't see a thing. There's not a cloud in sight. And Elijah says, keep looking. Look 7 times if necessary. How long was that 7? There's no time frame here. I'm telling you there was a trial there. I'll infer there's a trial, and sure enough, the 7th time he said, oh, I see a cloud. But Elijah, it's like this big. It's like this big. Those don't drop rain. I can see that. I'm that guy. Okay. You see the little cloud? We've got clouds in the sky today. Those ones aren't dropping rain. And these are a lot bigger than a little cloud. And so, it's no bigger than someone's hand rising out to sea. Quickly then, on your way, tell Ahab, saddle up and get down from the mountain before the rain stops you. How'd you like to be told that? Go, go, go before the rain stops you. That cloud is not going to rain. I don't know what, there's no rain in that cloud. I know what a cloud looks like when there's rain. And that cloud does not look like rain, and you're telling me to bust my hind end and get down this mountain before the rain comes. See, Ahab had to grab on to a little bit of faith. There's just a little hope. It was a day when I went to get our house refinanced. And I had tried and I tried and tried. And I finally talked to this mortgage guy, been in the business 40 years. And he said, you have less than 1% chance of getting that house refinanced. We'd have lost our house. That was a fact. That was a fact. And guess what? That cloud got bigger. We refinanced our house. That was a divine gift from God himself. It wasn't me. I wasn't special. I didn't have perfect credit. It was hard. It was a gift. So he takes that, and things happen fast. Things happen fast. All of a sudden, the sky grew black with wind-driven clouds, and then a huge cloudburst of rain, with Ahab hightailing it in his chariot for Jezreel. And God strengthened Elijah mightily. Well, it strengthened me too. You don't think for a second Elijah wasn't? When those heads between the knees, you don't think he wasn't seeking? God, I'm looking for breakthrough. God, something needs to change here. Rain's coming. I heard it. But I don't see it. Hey, what'd you see, Ahab? Nothing. Oh, Lord Jesus, please. I thought the rain's coming. I thought I heard it. And he keeps seeking. And he keeps seeking. It goes on. I've seen it. I've seen it in my own life. I'll never forget, I was in a church service, and for Thanksgiving, a lot of times people get up and say what they're thankful for. We've done that here. And this gal gets up in front of the church after having 2 miscarriages. She'd broken. She wanted to be a mom. And it was ripping her up. And she stood in front of us crying and said, next year, I'm going to stand up here and I'm going to thank God for a baby, whether it's inside or out. I'm going to have a baby. She did. She did. That little bit of faith. She never was able to have a second one. She was only able to have that baby. It's a miracle. I've seen it with my own eyes. God does it. He does it. There's this Dwight Thompson, the pastor. He talked about this old pastor who was a bivocational pastor. The pastor, he had to work a full-time job, and he pastored a church. And the pastor was up working on a roof, and he fell off. And he was paralyzed. And he was very depressed. He's put in the hospital. He goes to visit him. And he just tells the pastor. He's like, how you doing? You know, it's what we do. We just went and visited friends who lost their home. You know, you don't go and be like, hey, are things great? You can't talk to people that way. No, it's not great. God's faithful, but it's not great. He's like, yeah, I don't get it. All I've ever done is pastored small churches. I've always had to work another job to make ends meet. And here I lay paralyzed. And the other pastor looked at him and he said, yeah, I knew you were going to say that. Because when I walked in here, the devil sat on my shoulder and said, I got that guy down. He's not going to preach anymore. He's going to be done. I got him down. And the pastor says to him, he said, oh, he did he? He said that. Well, you tell the devil he can take my legs and I still have my hands to praise the ever-living God. And you tell the devil if he takes my hand, my mouth will keep praising God. And you tell him if he takes my teeth, I'm going to gum him to death because I'm going to fight the devil every step of the way. That's us. That's the endurance. That's where we need to be. Oh, you think you've got me now? No. There's more to come. More to follow on. We expect blessings to be easy and magical. But sometimes you have to hang on for the rest of your life. I took the kids out. We went out on horseback to take the goats out to pasture. And our goats like to run all over God's earth. And I did not want them all over God's earth. I needed them to stay in the pasture. I'm on the horse. I have Haley on the back. And they just bolt. And they are running. And I know that if I don't get ahead of them and get that taken care of, I'm only chasing goats for 3 hours. And I don't like that. I'm thankful we're getting rid of goats. But anyway, I get the horse, I bust the horse out into a run. I've got my kid behind me. I've got my arm strapped, hanging on, and I'm yelling, hang on, and I'm trying to get around. And what does she have to hold on to? All she knows is, Daddy's holding on to, I am not good, Dad. She's bouncing behind me. She's not in the saddle. I'm in the saddle. And I'm going, oh, God, don't let her fall. I'm holding on. I got an arm, too, just in case, And we get around and we'll get them turned around. That's the ride of your life. Did I want her to get hurt? Was I trying to put her in danger? No, I got in a situation. What was I going to do? Just dump her off the horse and take off? Well, what did I do? I couldn't leave her. She had to hang on. She got to go for a ride. She loved it. Oh, it was fun, Dad had the horse. And I'm going, whew, don't like that at all. Too much stress. Not a big fan of it. But that's how it goes. So when you're looking for direction, get ready. Not only do you have to have faith, but you're going to have a ride of your life from time to time. It's not going to be easy. But when you know your direction, you cannot lose sight of it. You can't let go. You have to hang on. Because the rain's coming. The blessing is on its way. You got to keep looking. Ahab had to keep looking. Keep looking. Look again. Oh, I don't know if we're going to pay this month's bill. Look again. I don't know if the car will ever run. Look again. I don't know if this relationship will ever be healed. Look again. Don't stop looking. Keep looking. Look again. You're going to see breakthrough. Don't give up. Don't you dare give up. That's when the devil's laughing. Don't give up. You got to hang in there for the breakthrough. Don't let the devil get a smile. No, you wipe that smile off his face. We have control over that. We don't have to let him think he's going to win. The healing's on its way. The financial provision is on its way. The baby is coming. The relationship is going to be restored. Things are going to get better. You got to hit your knees. You got to hit your knees. You've got to seek God. You worship the ever-living God because the rain is coming. The rain's coming. Keep looking. Will you please stand with me? We as the Car Community Church are always going to present Christ's open doors of heaven to everybody. If you'd like to make Jesus your Savior, simply say, Jesus, I'm sorry for my sins. Come into my heart and I'll serve you with all of my ability. If you prayed this prayer, we believe you've begun the Christian transformation. If you want to know more, it's simply like prayer, feel free to come up here. And I'll pray with you during the last song. Lord God, we come to you, every one of us looking for breakthrough in various parts of our lives, Father. We ask you, Jesus, to keep our eyes open. Keep our head on the horizon. Strengthen our faith. Help us to understand what endurance means and that it doesn't mean tomorrow, Lord. But when we're weak and when we're weary, remind us that you're there, Lord, with your unfailing hand as we work towards your anointed goal. God, we ask you to pour your favor all over us. Dunk us in your favor, Lord. Remind us daily of these miracles that you're working in our lives and strengthen us. We thank you, God, for your grace and surrounding us with your amazing love. Give us divine approval, and most of all, fill us with your perfect peace. In Jesus' name, amen. Thanks, guys.